Howdy, everybody. My name's the Sid, and as you can tell from the naming, we're actually doing a hidden encounter, which is something a little bit different than what we normally do. I'm still going to be running the random encounters. We're hoping to bring the podcasts in and do something interesting with those, but we'll talk about that once we have a more solid plan. But for now, let me throw you to your actual host, Sel, for her grand plan of hidden encounters.
I'm Selcouthmind, or Sel for short, and if you know me, you will learn very quickly that I am deeply passionate about indie games and indie game speedruns. And so I am very excited to be here and having RPGLB trust me to run a show all about those hidden gems that you might not know about. So we're going to be looking at indie RPGs, maybe some obscure ones. I've got some ideas and some folks interested in that area. But I am very excited for today's show. We've got two lovely runners who have agreed to come join us, including our very first game, one that I love deeply. Who in chat likes Pokemon? I hope you like Pokemon, but I would argue better than Pokemon, because we have Beastieball here, going to be run by the fantastic Hallow. Let's go.
Hello. Hello, I'm Hallow. This is Beastieball. I am so excited to be here on the first show. I did not realize this was the first show. That's very exciting. We're going to be running Beastieball today. Beastieball is a lovely little creature collector by the folks over at Wishes Unlimited, also responsible for Chicory and Wandersong, if you're familiar with either of those games. So what if a creature collector was also a sports anime, but also like a tactics game? That's this. It's really fantastic. We'll get into explaining it more in a moment once we start the run. With me on commentary, I have Sel, of course, who is here hosting, and Palms.
Hello, it's wonderful to be here. First time commenting, and I'm very excited about it.
Yep, Misty Palms is the current any percent world record holder. I am running all ranked coaches today, which is a bit of a longer category, but more consistent. It is worth noting this game is in early access at the moment, so we've had a whole lot of routing to work through as balance patches come in for the PvP side of this game, which is also fantastic. But that often means that the route gets messed up a little bit, so we have some stuff to work through. This is the route that's endured the most. So we're going to be throwing ourselves at every ranked coach in the game. It's going to be about an hour long, and it's going to be a blast. We all set to go?
Just give a countdown for tech.
For sure. All right, so all ranked coaches in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, right, we got a nighttime speed run because it's Big Moon.
Yeah.
That's fun. Anyway, this is Beastieball. We're doing a little tutorial fight here wherein we learn that you need 2 BCs to play this game, because if you don't, there are empty lanes in which you can score points. But we will also teach our opponent, Riley here, that if you leave the lane empty, that means that the opponent can score a point. There are forwards moves and sideways moves in this game. It's on a 2x2 grid for each side. There are attacking moves, defending moves, supportive moves, volley moves. It's volleyball, but it's a creature collector. We have a whole bunch of overworld movement to do in the start of the game, so I will toss it over to Misty to explain more of the basics of the game if you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah. So we're about to see a few tricks here that help with some time saves. This one is very recent, within the last couple days. At least what's on my screen.
I'm not going to get it because I ran into a wild, but there we go.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Oh dear.
Yeah. There's If you stay aggroed with the beastie that has numbers above it, which is called a guardian, then you can basically just fall off the bridge and warp back. And we just saw another very cool trick called sending the beetles to space, which is effectively just we make that guardian overshoot while it's chasing us, and it just rockets up the cliffside. And it's the beetles because the name of that team, or the names of the beasties on that team, are Johnny, Polly, Jorge, and Ringo. So we
Great
send
stuff.
the beetles to space.
Lovely way to start the
Now
run.
we're fighting Rival. Yeah.
I'll get into the
This is-
experience chat. We need to gain a lot of experience as quickly as we can so that we can do the rest of the game really quick. This is our rival Jack. Most encounters in the game, such as wild encounters and guardian encounters, guardians are sort of like slightly tougher fights with like numbered beasties, as they're called, which aren't just, random wild encounters. Usually blocking your path, as you've seen so far, we skip every single one. I don't think we fight a single guardian, besides maybe losing to a couple of them.
Yeah, it is possible to skip pretty much every guardian in the game.
It is possible to skip every guardian in the game.
I think the one in guarding, what is it, Chartreuse?
Oh, yeah.
Or is there a skip for that? I don't know.
Always Gary. Always Gary. We'll get to Gary later. Anyway.
Gary. We love Gary here. We don't.
But, we're getting experience real quick. Most fights in the game, such as the Guardians, have diminishing returns on experience. Story fights like this one against Jack don't have diminishing returns. So we'll actually be taking a lot of advantage of that later. I'll get to explaining it more once we're done. But anyway, our Kitchik just metamorphed into Ostracize, so we can win this fight now. It's going to be real tricky, you get to see here what a delicate dance this game can be. Ostracize about to survive on 1 HP in a moment. We have this very careful...
Oh yeah, we are getting that one. Yeah, there is also some variation in what the AI will do, just kind of randomly. So sometimes we do not get this route, and Ostracize lives on more than 1 HP.
But those are faster. So we got the slow version.
Common.
You'll see me here move Spreco.
But it's also the most common.
A lot of this game is based on manipulating the AI into doing what we want. So we expect in a situation like that the AI is going to go for the KO on Ostracize, or the wipe, as we call it. And that means we can just sort of move Spreco in front of Ostracize to just take the hit. And that's Jack. That is a roadblock which we can't skip. So good to get past them. We're actually just going to lose to this Guardian real quick. Just for a little bit of experience, and also to get these beasties wiped. And now we're off to the rest of the game. We're going to be going straight to the mid-game areas. I always get a little bit annoyed at the fact that if you lose and then run into that again... oh, right, there's a skip here. 1 sec. Really easy out of bounds. Try this one at home. You just jump and hold sprint and right.
You just wedge yourself against the box.
That one was found quite recently.
See you later. I'm out of here.
Yep.
That's new to me. That's beautiful.
Yep, it's new to us too.
Yeah,
We
that
figured
was
it out,
within the last couple of
very
weeks.
recently. Anyway, we're going to go grab an exercise video up here, as well as a sparkling object. Exercise videos are super useful items, which we're going to be getting quite a lot of in this run. They allow us to give our beasties an extra level. There's also a sparkling object.
Effectively like rare candies in Pokemon.
Yes. We also grab a sparkling object there. We're going to sell those for some money, which we can use to train our beasties' stats once we get to a gym. Fun little skip here. And now we are basically in GeoCity, which is kind of a very central hub of the game, meaning we can now access a lot of earlier game areas that we need to get to quite a bit more easily. I'm going to jump on the fence there so that Guardian doesn't chase me down, and you're going to see us gather a lot of warp points. We just grabbed one in Domain Park. We're about to grab one in Mainframe after we pick up another exercise video. And now we're heading up to even more. Overworld movement in this game, while obviously not the central focus of the speedrun, is honestly a huge amount of fun. Can I get free skip? Yes, cool. Not the fastest, but I took the time to set it up. Yeah, you'll see a lot of overworld puzzles as well being solved by throwing balls at things. It's very fun. Hitting a lever with a ball is always really satisfying. You'll see those like rail levers around like railroad gates. And they typically block your path. Since we're going sort of backwards through a lot of the early game, there are going to be a lot of them that we don't have to deal with that we otherwise would, which is nice.
Yeah. None of this is really intended the way you're supposed to progress through
Casual
the game.
players will not
basically
progress through
as
the
soon
game
as
this
we
way.
Yeah. Like, basically as soon as we beat Jack, our rival, and got access to GeoCity through that, like, we're off the beaten path.
Yep. We're grabbing a couple useful items here. First was the attract spray, which we got. We are going to be recruiting a third beastie this run. We're only going to need 3. You can have a team of 5. And that attract spray will make sure it shows up at the highest possible level, which is obviously quite a good thing. We also grabbed the athletic spray, which is going to 1.5 our experience for an amount of time. 5 minutes, and I got that skip, which is always nice.
We skipped Big Jazz Boy.
We skipped Big Jazz Boy. But yeah, a whole bunch of item gathering and warp point gathering, so we can come back to stuff later. That's another exercise video. And you'll see we skipped a whole bunch of gates, like that one, in order to get to Jasper, which is sort of like the first town that they expect you to run into in a casual game. But we're actually going to challenge our first ranked coach here, in Kaz, and sort of get his little quest line activated. You'll notice we're going in with a wiped beastie. No one shows up. Kaz doesn't want to play like that, so he tasks us with finding the 3 most bored people in town, and we're gonna find 2 of them for him right now, and then come back and get the 3rd one later. This is Ida. She wants us to beat her in a Beastieball match, which we can do handily with our slightly over-leveled beasties. And this is Caroline, who hates hiking and sports ball, and we're going to lie to her. But anyway, that's Cassette. So now we're heading right back off to an entirely different part of the map and getting more warp points.
Did we not get the guy on the roof?
We'll be getting him later.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Oh, that's
I say, I do like the very distinct art style of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge shout-outs to all the people who worked on this game. Is it Caroline Berger doing the environments? I need to...
I can look that up.
Do not know.
I forgot something. I forgot one thing in Jasper, which is there are actually, and I suppose I'll find Kenta now. This is the thing that I was going to do later, but I forgot a step. So we are now technically...
I'd imagine it's a bit of a struggle with a game that's constantly changing at a moment's notice.
We're going to sell those so I have a bit of money. There we go. Work back here. We need to buy a jersey patch. Beasties all have a stat called coaching percentage, which sort of means when they're uncoached, their stats are a little random. Missed that skip, unfortunate. But once they're coached, their stats will be entirely consistent, which is nice and useful. That will, once we get our 3rd beastie, ensure that it's at least 50% coached, which is a very significant amount. Coaching percentage sort of goes up over time. But either way, enough yapping about that. It's time for more grinding. Are you excited for grinding? We have some grinding to do.
Let's go.
This is Jack 2.
So much
they're going to
fun.
block off a significant part of the game, but we're not going to care about most of that. There are a couple
Yeah, we can just ignore them.
We can ignore them for now. We will need to beat them again later. But there's a fun skip we're going to do in a bit. You're going to see us lose to Jack a few times here until the experience becomes less efficient than going and losing to a bunch of high-level Guardians we're going to run into in a bit, which again have those diminishing returns on experience. So losing to them multiple times in a row, despite being higher level, would give us less experience than losing to Jack multiple times in a row. So we're going to go up to level 26 here against Jack. And then we're going to go lose to basically every Guardian on the way to sort of the last area with a ranked coach in the game that you're supposed to get to, 1,000 views. We're going to lose to every Guardian along that way once, and maybe twice.
Yeah, previously this grind against our rival by just losing over and over was, I think, about 7 minutes or
7 minutes long. Yeah, which is not short, but we've found a way to integrate. This was a fairly recent development, a month ago or so. We found a way to integrate a lot of the grinding with that traversal in the overworld, which makes it a lot faster. You'll also note that every time we fight Jack, we have to serve, which means I have to click free ball and then wait for the opponent to, make some volley plays. When we're fighting against Guardians, I don't need to serve. I can just face away from them, and they will serve into me, meaning the match gets over significantly quicker. Anyway, that's level 26, so we're going to now start losing to Guardians. Have to turn around real quick to make sure they can just knock me out and serve, and you'll see just how much faster this is. Sorry for any camera glitching. Hopefully they'll get that fixed by full release, which is still probably about a year away. But anyway, here's a fun little skip. Once we get... Oh, I needed to learn that, actually. Let's do that now. Shield and clear field. A couple moves I forgot to learn there. But yeah, we just jumped off a trash can onto a tree. Everything's normal.
I mean,
Yep.
That's how I get onto trees. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Totally normal parkour.
And now,
Yes. Normally
and
you'd
now we
have
can
to...
get to the highest level area in the game.
Well, highest level area, that's not post-game. But normally you'd have to beat Jack
true.
to get up here. We don't have to do that because we're gaming.
It feels so awkward watching you get levels off of just getting dumpstered over and over again because it just flies in the face of most every RPG.
Yep.
Like, you have to win to keep your EXP.
Yep. No, we don't. There is, to be fair, built-in sort of, if you're familiar with Pokemon Nuzlocke, like that, Iron Man mode, which you don't actually get any experience when you lose a point. So the route for that, the speedrun route for that is not developed yet. I did a little bit of work on it, but have been focusing mostly on any percent and all ranked coaches for now. But that one's going to be a much more traditional RPG run where we actually have to beat things. Oh, did I hit the one there? What happened? No, I didn't. Okay.
No, we're good.
That's really...
Yeah.
It's always interesting to hear that there's multiple different ways to play, too, where you don't
Yep.
have to self-impose the...
We just picked up a star jersey, which we're going to need to recruit our third beastie in a bit. We're also going to grab another sparkling object here. Money is good. We like having money in this game. We're going to lose to this...
We can spend money on increasing stats, which is very important.
Yes. This is the one Guardian we lose to twice because it's convenient to. Again, sorry for the camera glitching. But it is also the Guardian that gets you the most experience out of any Guardian in the area, so it's convenient that it's the one we kind of end up in the range of after we pick up an item. But anyway, we're going to skip the second half of this puzzle by just jumping on a trash can again. You know, normal things.
A lot of trash can skipping. Also, I don't remember if we said this already, but shoutouts to Anomaly in the Discord for finding 90% of these skips. If you see us sequence break the game, pretty much guaranteed that Anomaly found it.
Yes. The way one of our fellow speedrunners who sometimes plays this game, Happy by 3, put it is, it's very useful to have someone in a speedrun community who is just willing to slam their face into a wall for hours on end. Anyway, just a couple more losses to go before we hit level 36 and Ostracized metamorphs one last time into Cassette. We're not gonna fight this wild Diva. That is not necessary. We are gonna fight this Magpike. If you could charge at me, there we go. Ostracized now has the moveset we're going to be using for the rest of the game. Launch is a super useful serving move, which shifts us to the front row, allowing us to block, allowing us to move in front of Sprecko to take a hit where Sprecko would otherwise get hit. And it gets you a power bonus. That's something I hadn't explained yet. If you're in the front row, you get a power bonus. If you're in the back row, you get a defense bonus. So we actually like Sprecko as a partner, and Sprecko's Metamorph, Iligus, which we'll be getting later, because Sprecko has Careful Shot, which is a sideways move, meaning the AI is much more likely to want to cover the front row, meaning we can deal more damage to them because their defense is lower. Anyway, that was a little cutscene we had to watch. This is Dominic.
That was the strongest ranked coach in the game, just getting dumpstered by the champion.
Yep.
No big deal.
So we're going to lose to Dominic once. We'll be back for him later, don't worry. As he, like Guardians, gives diminishing experience. He is the one ranked coach who does give diminishing experience, because his beasties are super high level. But
I was gonna joke that we're gonna make the comeback of the century here, but no,
we're
just
not.
gonna lose.
We have two beasties and one of them is wiped, and they're extremely underleveled. We are just gaining some experience off him, and here's the Metamorph, and I'm gonna take a drink of water, because I've been yapping.
Dominic, is Dominic still really terrifying? Because when I was trying to learn any percent, Dominic was
In
the
any
most
percent,
terrifying fight.
yes. In this route, no. We'll be doing him last. So anyway, we are now warping right back out to 1,000 views. I am going to heal real quick. I don't actually need to do that, so I just wasted a few seconds. Using the Super Attract Spray to make sure that our Fruit Folks we're going to get in a moment is as high a level as possible. Here's where we need all the money for. We are going to give Cassette a whole bunch of body power. There are 3 attacking and defending types in this game. Each beastie has a stat in each. Those are body, spirit, and mind. Here's our Fruit Folks. Fruit Folks has a recruit condition of needing to heal 5 times. So we are going to just sort of sit here and free ball at them until we have healed 5 times. Refresh is 1 heal, clear field is another. And we're going to hope that they don't bring the heat into Sprecko again, because that would be bad. Unfortunately, they did. How did I survive that? Okay. Well, sure.
Sprecko's got defenses.
Sprecko does have defenses. I guess that one was in the back row. So anyway, we've now fulfilled the recruit condition, and we have our star jerseys, so I can just recruit ones. Let's take the one with the higher coach percentage. And now we have our Fruit Folks, so we can get off to the rest of the game. Such as going over here and taking on Gene. We ran past him earlier. Now that we're a higher level, we can actually just one-shot anything he can come at us with. He's training some wild beasties here. We're just going to blow them up because we're 20 levels higher than them. Sorry, did I say 20? I meant like 27. He has an item we need, so we do actually need to come past him and fight him. We're now going to go and get Sprecko's Metamorph, Iligus. Since we're trained up, we can one-shot all of Reese's beasties here. We're going to be over-leveled for a while. It will not persist throughout the run. We're going to be pretty much on par and have less beasties than every coach in the endgame. But for now, we can sort of dumpster everyone, which is nice. So that's Reese.
It is very nice.
Now we fight Iligus. We're just going to click launch as per usual. And the nice thing about being in the front row is we can block, and if Iligus cooperates, they will attack in the Cassette, and they don't. If you receive a blocked attack, you get an easy receive, as you see on screen there, which is super useful because it means you don't have to volley the ball. Typically, you have to volley the ball when receiving an attack, but if you get an easy receive, such as by receiving a... Oops, I hit skip cutscene too fast. such as by blocking or just receiving a free ball. That means you don't have to volley, which means you have time for support actions and can save some time. Super useful. Anyway, here's Illigus. Illigus has a useful move and ability called Trapper. Traps are like entry hazards, so whenever a beastie tags in, they take a bit of damage. This is going to get us some range for KOs. Where am I going? I am going back to here, and we're going to finally beat Jack. You'll notice I actually warp sort of above the trigger that starts this fight. Meaning that I sort of get teleported down here for a moment, and we're going to teleport right back up for a moment to save just a little bit of in-game time. Save the run-up. Here's a tricky Guardian skip. I'm going to hopefully not fall off. There we go. Just run along the fence here, and we're outside of its range. Couple items we need to grab on this screen. There's another, there's a conditioning ticket here, which is super useful as it also increases coach percentage. There's also an exercise video there. And now we're gonna not mess up this little maze. This is my least favorite screen in the game. Can you tell why? And we're gonna unfortunately run into this Guardian, who we are not going to fight.
For the record, that child that's in the middle of the maze there is literally there because she got lost and can't solve the boost pad maze.
I think she's on her way
like,
to school. It's
get
incredibly
to
sad.
That
It's just like
that maze is tricky.
It is.
it really is.
I don't think I made it look easy. If you hit those things, it's sort of like there are screens with warp panels and like I forgot what they're called in Pokemon, but like the ones that make you spin around and go places and like the Fuego Ironworks. Where am I going? I'm speaking about an entirely different game. Where am I going? I'm going down here.
Yeah.
We're gonna buy a boating license and cross the sea. Yep, that's another reason why we need a bunch of money. We're gonna jump on that dock, sort of outside of that Guardian's range, just so that we can get on the sea. Did I forget it? Now's my time to check if I forgot anything. I got the warp point, I got the items, cool. I was looking at my notes and not the screen, and that meant I ran into a wild beastie. Luckily, we can just forfeit against any beastie that we don't mean to get into an encounter with, so we don't lose too much time, it's just like a few seconds. Here's a little fun quest that you skip in any percent, but we don't skip here. Because we need to go more places here, and some of those places are places where you need to go for this quest. So we're gonna take out this Guardian, get an item from Ziggy the Tort Anchor here, and then grab this campsite warp point and heal just in case. Now I'm gonna warp back up here. Oh no, the field is the back of a Tort Anchor. It's a very large beastie.
Tort anchors are they
I also
the
forgot
biggest?
something. They are the biggest beastie.
Yes.
Yeah, no, the world building of this game
They're
is
very
fantastic. I also realized that I went any percent mode for a second and forgot something, so we're actually going to see it in a moment.
Going to barrel.
Yep. I need to go to Chartreuse. This is Gary. We don't like Gary because they use a move called Sting, which slows us down. By meaning we have to free ball. It's fine. We are not in any danger. We're just annoyed.
It's just a nuisance.
Yep.
Oh, Sting and Drum. Oh boy.
Drum isn't an issue. We just one-shot everything. But anyway, I needed to go here.
We're so over-leveled.
We're very over-leveled. This is Chartreuse. We needed the letter we got from Jean to enter this club. We're going to splash some water on our face, and then try and get past the bouncer, but he's going to want to play a Beastieball match with us, and we're going to kind of dash his dreams for a bit. By, as per usual, one-shotting everything with launch. This will change soon, but you'll notice we're going around and doing a lot of things without actually taking on any of the ranked coaches. That's because we're trying to set up all of them so that stuff doesn't scale. Everything scales, so we have a very specific order. Fun cutscene here. Little bit of a warning for the flashing lights. I should have given that in advance. But we're going to go and sort of get all of these ready. we're going to get all of these ready, but not do them yet, because the trigger for things scaling is like beating those ranked coach fights. Anyway, now we're off to barrel. We have the third quest item we need to get for that quest to get Ziggy out of the way in here. And for that, we're going to talk to Autumn here and just skip the cutscene as per usual. If you hear me clapping at any point, that's me hitting the skip cutscene button. I found it to also be the clap button, so you can have a nice indicator of when I'm doing that. Warp out here, go to the gym. And we're going to train Frufolk's spirit power. That's the wrong token. And we're going to go this one and make sure we don't waste any money. Going to use an exercise video here as well, and the conditioning tickets. We need Frufolk's to get a level so they can get Scream, which is their best attacking move. And now we're going to go up here and talk to Riven. Riven is another red coach. Again, we're going to be sort of leaving her here, waiting for a while. Now we're going to walk back up here. We got this campsite right at the start of the run. That was 25 minutes ago, do you remember? And fight Bongus, the second of the 3 rowdy beasties and mushroom colonies we need to visit in order for one of the 2 side quests. I thought I talked to you. I talked to Jeremy, I guess. Can I 2-shot Bongus? I forget. I may not be able to 2-shot. I may have messed up.
Yeah. Well, maybe with levels.
I don't think I have the 2-shot. Alright. I could use partners. I don't need that anytime soon. Let's do that. There we go. Bongus has a move called Mark, which blocks me from the back lane, but I can just boost my attack there with that combo move, which we're going to use very occasionally, in order to deal enough damage to get through the block. Anyway, our quest with Ziggy is done, so they move aside, and we can access Surgus. There is a skip for that, which we use in 90%, but this is an 90%. We actually do need to get behind Ziggy. They were, in fact, blocking off a significant part of the sea. Anyway, this is Surgus. Surgus has a field effect called Rally. All of the Sprecomorphs are based around a field effect. It has a trait which boosts its defenses in Rally, but we actually still have Clear Field on Illigus for exactly this reason. We can take Rally off the field, meaning its defenses are lowered again, and we can just get past it. Next, we are warping back out here, and finally going to go take on a rank coach. And the first one of those is Marcy. You'll note up here in the sea, this is where Ziggy was. You saw that giant thing earlier? That was an entire beastie. They are very ancient, and we're blocking the way, but now they've retreated back into the sea. So we are just hopping over to Gamboj over here.
Sometimes beasties just get to be megafauna. It's fun.
Yeah. It's great.
Also, I am seeing in the chat a lot of love for Bongus, and I just want to say that's correct.
Yes.
In this household, we all love Bongus.
Bongus is one of the best creatures ever designed. Anyway, this is Marcy. We have to do a little fun side quest here called the Pirate Show. We're going to take some dialogue options that speed along the process by making us not have to take more dialogue options, and then go find some treasure. This is Captain's Mode, which is a fun little side mode you play here. Again, this is not meant to be the first rank coach you run into. But the reason why we take this on first is because we actually need to knock out the captain of the opposing team on this, like the BC in the first slot. Everything here is like one-shottable at the moment, but won't be if we come here later, again, due to the scaling. So we get this one out of the way right away, so that in a moment you're going to see we can one-shot Marcy's entire team, which is very impressive considering how much defense her captain has. We're going to get a full heal from talking to Marcy here. And we're going to see our first instance of redirection. This Mudsley is going to use Mighty Yell to make us have to take an extra turn here, but it's fine. You'll see we don't score a point there for not knocking out the captain, but now we can knock out the captain twice. So, nice and easy. And that's our first ranked coach of 8. Some things I haven't explained yet. Well, I have some fun overworld movement. I also should edit some moves real quick. We're going to put Blade Trap on there. Just doing some sort of overworld cleanup and activating another red coach up here. Some things I haven't explained. The reason why we picked Kitchik is they have the single highest body attack stat in the game, and they're a starter. And they also have a trait or ability called Overwork, which, if you're familiar with Pokemon, is basically a life orb. We deal 1.2 times as much damage in exchange for 10% of our stamina every time. Can I get this Guardian skip? No. Cool. So, obviously, super useful. Something we have to play around quite a lot, because, you know, we're losing stamina all the time. One sec. There's a fun little skip here. As per usual, we're solving puzzles with ball. Get out of the way, Froof. There we go. Nope. I'm going to save time here, I promise, by sort of skipping half of this puzzle. There are so many beasties, and they're all in my way. There's a fun skip here, I promise. There's a fun skip here, I promise! This was discovered literally 2 days ago, again, by Oddnomaly. Huge shoutouts to them. What is happening? I am picking up a ball, and it is immediately putting it away. This is actually bizarre. There we go.
Again, early access.
Oh. That
is a thing that happens sometimes.
Game physics be doing funny things.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna F8 that later. This is an early access game. The devs are taking a lot of like really active feedback. Anyway, so I guess when beasties are volleying a ball at the moment, it doesn't like. There we go. So we're gonna sprint into this and kick it into that wall there. Okay, finally got there.
Yay!
Oop, ran into the web bounce. Oops. Oh well. There's another one like that, very slightly here, but we're not going to do that because it's harder and also doesn't save much time. Guardian, we unfortunately...
Also, I do just love that the web bounce, like, hide as...
They hide as balls. There's
shrooms.
So much good world building in this game. Go play this game. Have we convinced you to play this game yet?
There's so many incredible beastie designs as well. Like, playing
Okay,
casually, like, I thought I found my favorite, and then I found a new one, and it's so good.
Yep. We're going to set Frufolk's moves here and actually put them in the first slot. The reason why we like them here is there is a set of beasties we have to fight here, which have an ability called Intangible, which means they take no damage from body attacks. However, they have really awful spirit defense, so we're going to take advantage of that. They're going to use a move called Stinky, which is a little annoying because it means Froof can't attack right now, but that's fine. We're just going to, unfortunately, waste a little time here, which there is no way to save. And then one-hit them.
AI loves using Stinky.
Yep.
Like, at any cost, it will use Stinky.
Plot. There's all sorts of plot in this game. The story is so good. We skip all the cutscenes for obvious reasons. Anyway, here's going to be our second ranked cook. This is a very normal shop with a Beastieball center on the roof. And we're gonna make sure I have Castle Lead in the first slot again. So we can one-shot every beastie on the way up this tower. Once again,
this turns into a battle tower type of thing.
Yes.
Which is very cool. A lot of people use it to test out competitive themes, which also there is a very active PvP scene, which contributes a lot to the feedback that the devs take into account.
Yeah.
And
this entire game is balanced around PvP. It's really awesome.
Yes.
It is one of the most balanced, like, creature collector PvP scenes things out there. It's so good. I've been setting up a draft league. I did a whole bunch of work on that last night. It's real exciting. Go play this game.
Yeah.
Anyway, as per usual, we have to deal with Sting here again, which is annoying, but you know, it's not losing us any time because it happens every time, so like, we deal with it. As per usual, just one-shotting a lot of stuff. We are now up the tower, and we're gonna go take on Callisto here. Nothing I need to
I don't know if people, I think it might have skipped past the Marcy fight in the stream, but incoming ska banger for the soundtrack.
Yes. Very good stuff. There's Valerie who wanted to talk to us. There's a whole bunch of plot in this game. The story's so good. The characters are so good. I love this game. Here you'll see us using blocks so that we can get an easy receive, like I mentioned earlier, and that means we can just sort of blow everything up here. Alright. And this is our second rank coach. That's Callisto. Again, super easy, but her beasties haven't scaled much because we've only beaten one ranked coach so far. You're going to see those levels start increasing quite significantly in a bit. Anyway, on to our third ranked coach, Elena. I need to remember that I don't need to heal there, and I'm getting a little fun bug where we get stuck in the zip station for a while.
No.
There's a little...
Also, don't mind what's in the doorway there. It's probably fine.
Yes. Just Mac things. The devs don't know why it happens. It doesn't happen on Windows. I run on Mac. On packs. I don't think I need to block here. I think they're attacking Illigus, actually. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little tragic, really. It's just, I'm hitting the skip cutscene button a lot, and the game doesn't always know how to handle that. Anyway, I clicked the wrong button. There's a little in-game sort of like LAN network here, which we're looking for matches on in order to match up against the ranked coach of this area, Elena. And we're fighting these guys who want to play on her in-game equivalent of a Twitch stream. They're not very good.
So we're gonna have a Twitch stream chat pop up in-game in a moment.
Yep. This is her meme team. This is not her actual team. We get to hear one of my favorite songs in the game. It's really good. And we get to one-shot all of her beasties. Anyway, so with beating the meme team, we are now able to challenge her actual ranked match, which is going to be slightly more difficult and have higher level beasties. And with that, after this happens, we should hit rank 100, meaning we're eligible for entry to the Crown Series, which is sort of the end of the game. We're going to do that early because there are some endgame fights which will scale massively if we don't do them early. Anyway, launch into Moxie because Moxie's going to use Mighty L. I do need to focus a little bit here. Block Freezy and hope that they attack into Castle Eat. They don't. That's unfortunate. Means we won't get as many traps up, unfortunately.
Yeah. Elena's attacks are somewhat
Yep.
random.
If we had a trap up, we'd be able to one-shot Wolf there, but unfortunately we didn't. Anyway, just gonna block aim here. Her attacks are somewhat random, but you actually know where they're going because the Twitch chat tells you. It's very funny.
Yeah, she's literally asking her Twitch chat who she should attack.
It's very funny.
It's amazing. I love Elena.
Didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yep. Eventually they start lying
Also,
to
her
you.
song is another banger.
Eventually she starts banning everyone who tells you exactly who she's going to attack. So, anyway though, now we're ranked like 96 or so we can actually enter the Crown Series. Obviously we're not going to do that yet.
Jump scare.
Sports King jump scare. Gonna grab another war point out here in a second. Take a bunch of phone calls because everyone we know wants to talk to us because there's a whole bunch of interpersonal drama going on. Play this game. The characters are so good. There's so much good writing that we're just skipping through like it doesn't happen. Anyway. Let's take on Reese.
I'm also
first.
seeing in the chat that Demonic Mermaid is here. When we talk about scaling, that is one of the people who did a ton of research into how scaling works.
Yes.
So yeah, big shout outs to Demonic Mermaid as well.
Yeah, she is extremely willing to just go through and gather a bunch of data. Another very, very valuable thing for us to have around in the community, so huge thanks to her for that.
There was a spreadsheet. It was pretty amazing.
Yep. Anyway, that's Reese's endgame fight, which again would scale massively. We actually have a healing item that we never used earlier, which we're going to use now, because we're going to take on this gauntlet of high schoolers here, because they're going to give us 3 exercise videos, which is... I'm going to hit into the wrong one, which might actually make this hard. Okay, we're fine, we're fine.
Should be fine. Yeah. Basically, just don't hit into DB.
Yeah. I hit into the wrong beastie there, they use shield. And they use shield consistently, I just forgot. Anyway. Yeah, so we're just gonna beat all of them real quick. Again, 3 exercise videos for about a minute of beating up low-level coaches is entirely worth it. We don't get much experience from beating them, but we will get so much more experience than we could get in this amount of time by, like, fighting actual beasties. And we're gonna need it, in fact, in order to get a one-shot on one of Dominic's beasties in the last ranked coach fight of the game. That's 3 of 4. And here's 4 of 4.
These high schoolers are trying to beat you with the power of friendship.
It doesn't work.
Because this is an anime. Reminder.
When Sel was pitching this show to me, my brain could not really like comprehend what was being described to me, but now that I'm seeing it, it just makes sense.
Anyway, spoilers! Sort of. If you're not paying that much attention, you'll forget this. Anyway, here's Riley. We're just gonna, as per usual, win this fight as quick as we possibly can. Block is nice here.
There's been a good amount of routing that's gone into this fight.
Yep. Block is nice here because it means we can just get a whole bunch of traps up, and then I believe one-shot everything else as they tag in, because they take a huge amount of damage because we have 4 stacks of traps up. And there we go. So,
I don't know if we've explained traps.
I explained them a while ago,
Effectively
kind of
like
briefly.
spikes in Pokemon.
Yeah. You take
Okay, yeah.
You take 8 damage for each stack as you tag in. Super useful.
Yeah, and you can stack up to 4 times, and Iligas stacks automatically.
Yep.
And then also has the move that puts more traps on the field.
Yep. Anyway, I need to
So it's really good for
edit
that.
Iligas's moves. We have one more endgame fight we want to do before we go and do the ranked coach gauntlet. Which is
And we're about to hear a new song that was just released on this patch.
Yep.
Get ready for saxophone.
I don't even know if we'll get to the saxophone. We'll probably hear a bit of the saxophone.
I think that it's hard to not get the saxophone.
Anyway, this is sports. This is a sports match against God, Affectionate. We're gonna lose a couple points here.
That's
Every
fine.
rowdy fight, you can lose some points. We gain a whole bunch of experience if we do that, and we don't take damage because we can just, move to the side and not take a hit. Super useful. And it lets us get some damage off safely. As
We're also playing around the fact that Sports God also uses Sting every possible opportunity.
which is actually very useful, is something we haven't mentioned about Sting, is it takes 20 stamina to use. Oh yeah, there's the sax. Which means that as it uses it about 4 times across this fight, maybe 5, it deals 100 damage to itself, which is super useful. Taking advantage of knowing what the AI is going to do, it sees a KO on Cassette with this move here, so we can move Ilias to the back, which gives Cassette the defense bonus from being in the back row while it's still in the front row. Use Breaker there, move we got really early in the game, which actually lowers Sloom's body defense slightly, and means that we can, after Sting, get this KO right here. And there we go. We could now enter the Crown Series. Again, we're not going to do that yet, because we have some more ranked coaches to fight.
Yeah.
Back to the old moves on Iligas. And now is the gauntlet. We're going to warp down here and first take on Riven. This order, again, is very meticulously designed to work around scaling as much as possible. And let's win this fight.
I do love the idea of wild beasties being like, yeah, you know, volleyball, that's the way to solve our conflicts.
Yep. I went the wrong way, but it should be fine. We should be absolutely fine. I think Frisky tagged out here. I think. Nope, we get blocked. Okay. That's fine. We're fine. I'm wasting a little bit of time. Oh, are we fine? We might not be fine. We are not fine. Okay, cool. My experience is a little messed up, probably, but that's not a huge deal. I can just forfeit, and we get a full heal every time we exit a ranked coach match. So we can just challenge Riven right away again without going anywhere. And I will click into the correct beastie this time. There are a lot of fights in this game, and I have a whole lot of flowcharts to the left of me, which you'll see me referencing quite frequently. Just in order to make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Especially towards endgame.
Sometimes I go a little too much on autopilot. But here, now we can actually get a KO. So there we go. This is how this fight should go.
And we sweep. Get out the broom.
Get out the broom. Alright. Next up, we have Kaz. So we're going back up to Jasper. I don't need to heal. Always need to remind myself that when I warp somewhere after a ranked coach fight. Anyway. Now we're here, and Kaz finally has an audience in his own hometown.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. Oh, normally I've been seeing relationship drama here. Right, okay. This is where the shield buff comes into effect. Oh yeah, by the way, beasties have like really intricate, there's a really intricate relationship system in this game between beasties. It's so cool. There's so much in this game.
Yeah, part of the anime influence.
Yes.
And, yeah.
We currently have partners. These two may eventually become rivals and hopefully won't do that because they mess each other up. Anyway, here's one of Sports King's attempts at making Beastieball more interesting because he doesn't know why Beastieball is interesting despite being the chairman of the league, who we hate and love.
Sports King has a fantastic song, but oh,
Yes. We don't get to hear very much of it, but trust me,
it's
you
good.
want to hear it. Play the
Play the game.
Also buy Lena Rain's soundtrack on Bandcamp.
Okay, so that was tennis mode. We needed to do that, unfortunately. I don't think I need to. Do I need to heal? I don't need to heal. Nice. Celia is going to be real easy.
Nice.
We ran into them earlier.
With Castle Elite, Celia is free.
Celia is free if you do the coaches in this specific order. If you do Celia any later, you can't get these one-shots. But right now, we can get these one-shots, so we're going to get some one-shots. Nice and easy. That is ranked coach 6 of 8. Heading down now to Chartreuse for ranked coach 7 of 8, which is going to be Sun Tzu. And as I mentioned, I have a full heal after exiting the ranked coach fight. So we can just head right into this one. Okay. And this is the first one I actually need to think really on. Gotta launch into quarters here. As they use Mighty Yell. Block Pong. Refresh, Lay Trap, thump in here and get the KO on Boxer as they tag in. Launch into quarters again. Block, dunk the Ostracized. And now we are actually going to make sure we knock out quarters here, because otherwise we won't quite have a KO, I think, on someone. Yeah, I think Dunk blocks us here, and that's the big deal. And we just want to, again, boost our attack a little bit with Partner's Move so that we can get those KOs that otherwise... The AI doesn't know about combo moves, so it will never pay attention to the fact that we can get a boost that it doesn't know is there. Anyway, that's 7 of 8 ranked coaches, so we are finally returning to Dominic. I am now going to use all those exercise videos we've gathered on Cassette to get them up to level 54, and we're going to have a very nice damage value we hit. Oh, have I mentioned? There's no damage RNG in this game. It's all consistent, it's entirely deterministic, and you can preview the damage as you're looking at it, so there's like so much strategy and no hidden info, which is just, it's such a lovely feature. Anyway, I need to turn my notes
If
page.
you've seen the numbers popping up on screen, that's what they are. It's the damage calculations.
Yep. We're actually going to block Bo here, and the reason why we need Cassette to be level 54 here is with 4 layers of traps dealing 32 damage, and the 69 damage off of hitting Ruth here, we can just hit them, which is incredible because they have one of the highest body defenses in the game.
Yeah. Pretty much all of Dominic's beasties have very high physical defense, body defense.
It's a miracle we can get through him.
Which, yeah. It has taken a lot of work and a lot of rerouting every time there's new updates that change how shield works, for instance.
So, you will note
a thing in the recent past.
that Cassette goes down here. This is fine. We are actually going to lose a point intentionally here and tag out Illigus for Frufolks. Frufolks has a pretty decent attacking stat, not a very good one. But by doing that little shuffle, we can now get Frufolks to the front row here, hit a volley, and we, if the AI decides to move up, get a KO with Careful Strap here. If they decide to shield instead, we get the KO there, we get the 3-point there as well, because they're not moving up. Anyway, that's all 8 ranked coaches. Let's go do the Crown Series. I don't need to heal. I don't need to heal.
Hey, that's the name of the category.
That's the name of the category. We said the line. We can all go home now, right? Anyway, we're going to buy 5 billion healing items. We don't need that many.
It's just faster to hit down so that you get the maximum number.
Yep, I hit left, actually. Both
And there's no reason not to.
Anyway. Now's the part of the run where I don't have very good flowcharts because I have foregone actually doing that because these fights are actually significantly easier than a lot of other ones like Dominic. With that easy receive, we can just set up all our traps and get a KO here as probably, Pearl comes back in. Oh, right, we don't get the KO. I block Noir again. This one has a flowchart, to be clear. I have to pay pretty good attention to what the AI has done and who they've attacked. Okay, I still have all 4 traps. Hitting down here and getting a KO into Goldie. Okay. Launching over here. Ruby is out. I shield Cassette here because the AI is going to see a KO with this thumb. Shields, I haven't explained yet. It's super useful. It means that you take 1/4 of the amount of damage, and you also can't be knocked out if you were on more than 1 HP when using the move. Anyway, that's Marlon. Next up is Barnes. We're going to make sure to heal here. We've seen Barnes a couple times so far in this run, but it's always been in Sports King's sort of joke matches. So here we're going to launch into Danny. Danny has an ability, Danny the Demolipede has an ability called Watchtower, which means that even if we wanted to hit Carlos there, we can't. Okay, refresh, lay trap. Right, this is the Lewis tags in and I block them and they use challenge, I think. I believe that's what's going to happen. Yep. So this move, challenge, actually means I get an attack boost here, which means I can now knock out Carlos the Blitzwift. And I'm going to be on, notably, 2 HP. So remember that thing I just explained about shield? Since I'm on 2 HP, I'm fine. I can shield and I'm going to take 1 damage. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. And that just goes to show how carefully this all is planned
Yep.
out. Well, the notes here are
But I do remember that.
less, but
Anyway, traps are
yes.
super useful there, as
It's
per
very
usual,
cool.
allowing us to knock out Max there. One more fight. I forget if I need Bigger Beam here or not. Let's put Bigger Beam on and see how it goes. I did a practice run last night, but I don't really have the notes for this one. We're going to launch into Fanon here, because Foucault is going to shield. We're now going to see a rainbow into Iligus, and Fanon moves forward. So we're going to block just to make sure we get a little more damage. Right, I think Vigor Beam with partners might get the kill. Not quite. Wait, does Fanon block here? Do I knock out Foucault? Fanon blocks here, I think. I might knock out Foucault through the block. Oh, okay. Well, I knock out Pouvoir instead. Jean is French. Have you noticed?
Yeah. All of the ranked coaches and a lot of the other NPCs in the game have like themes for the name of their team. I mentioned the Beatles in the beginning. Yeah, Jeans is French philosophers.
Yep. Oh, are you blocking here? I think you're blocking here. Nope. Okay. Well, we got a KO anyway. I think that's fine, because now we win with launch. Anyway. That's the last fight that matters of the run. Spoiler warning, close your ears for a minute if you don't want to know how the final fight goes. We get fully healed there. We're going to move.
You have a championship
The championship fight.
It's
It's
gonna
the
be
climax
really
of the
hard.
run.
Is the time right after the fight, or is there a little bit something after?
There's a little bit after. It's
There's like a
on
moment
selecting
after.
a dialogue
I'll
option.
explain when time comes up. But anyway, we're gonna use Fruit Folks here and just move them to the front and die. And now, everyone we've met along the way, have we convinced you this game is an anime yet? Everyone we met along the way is going to start showing up and saying how much they think the league sucks because of this guy in the middle's influence. You'll see this giant height meter on the right side of the screen that's slowly increasing and will continue to do so until we get to the end. I'm mashing the skip cutscene and end defense buttons because we're just trying to get through this as quickly as possible.
And once the match is over, which will be
About 20 seconds away, maybe?
yeah,
I don't know. I'm going to run into the locker room to the left, and time is going to be when I talk to Riley and hit the dialogue option.
the dialogue time to go.
Anyway.
Yeah.
One more point to lose. Alright, time coming up.
And here we go.
Time. Whew. And that's Beastieball. Alright, coaches.
GG.
In under an hour,
GG.
which is wild. We used to think any percent was going to be about this fast.
Yeah.
Whew.
There was a point where doing all ranked coaches was pretty scary to think of it going under an hour.
Yep.
So
And now we're here.
well done.
So yeah, this is a fantastic game. It's in early access right now, so if you want to wait till full release, that'll be probably sometime in 2026, maybe 2027. But if you do want to hop into early access and like join a really wonderful community of people who are super passionate about this game, both the PvP side, the speedrunning side is pretty small, but hey, we're hoping to grow that. So hop into the Wishes Unlimited Discord, hop into the Beastieball speedrunning Discord. This has been my...
There's a link to a voice chat server as well. That is where Hallow is doing the draft league.
Oh yeah, all sorts of stuff. It's a lovely game.
Yes.
Yeah. We're constantly working on the routes of this, so if you like this game, you want to play the game, and then come help out with the routes, please do so. So much changes every single patch.
Yeah, I find it very fun. I find it to be kind of a puzzle.
Yeah.
Kind of put the pieces
It's
together
a
and figure
wonderful
out what
puzzle.
needs to change.
This entire game is AI manipulation. It's really lovely.
Speaking of
We
that,
got
I was
the-
very. Oh,
Sorry, go.
speaking of that, I was very curious. What has been sort of the biggest challenge in routing this game?
In one word, Dominic.
Yep. Dominic keeps changing.
Yep.
He keeps being really difficult, at least in any percent.
He's gotten like several different changes to like his beastie's stats, movesets, traits, which have thrown a whole bunch of wrenches into the any percent routes. But we're working on it.
Yeah,
We're
and
constantly
also the
working on
devs
it.
are very communicative about like when there's going to be a change that might affect our route.
Yep,
So,
like we know that in the
they
next
actually
patch,
jump
one
into
of the
the
moves
Discord.
on his apostler is changing, and it's super nice to like have that help from the devs. They're like very helpful to speedrunners. Like there's a skip in the any percent route, which we noticed and found was incredibly easy. They made it harder to do, but not impossible. Like we said, hey, there's this giant sequence break in the game. And they didn't patch it out entirely. They just made it so that a casual player couldn't find it by accident. Which is, like, just huge shoutouts to the dev team. Greg and Damien are the two who do most of, like, the game stuff. Shoutouts to everyone who works on the art for this game. Alexis, I think Madeline Berger is involved in the environment arts. All of the like concept designers for Beasties and the animators. Shout out to Lena Rain who did all the music. Shout out to Plus Wave, Lena Rain's like music production collective who is working on this credits medley you're hearing right now. Shout out specifically to Maxo because I'm obligated to say that every time we get to this part of the song.
Shout out to Maxo.
Shoutouts to the sound designers, Elm Halberstadt, of A Shell in the Pit, and I think maybe a couple other people from there who have worked extensively on like making this game sound the way it does. Just the entire development process of this game has been such a joy to watch. It's still ongoing, obviously, early access and all. So you'll see there are a whole bunch of beastie arts, like especially in this credit sequence, you'll notice that Fruitbulk still has some like poses that are only sketches. There we go. This game is so special. I could, if you gave me a stage, I would talk about this game and do speedruns of it for like 6 hours if I could. I would probably get tired before the end of that, but I wouldn't stop talking.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of your love for the game, I am curious for both of you. Which is your favorite beastie? It does not have to be one that's used in speedruns, just in general. Who's your favorite?
Oh gosh.
I know, that's a really hard question.
That's a really hard question.
Yeah.
Can I list a few favorites?
Sure, give me your top 3 or so.
I think I'm going to give you my top 5 because I've got the PvP
Perfect.
with it, or at least my top 4. Which is 3 of the beasties that are used in this route because I've gone on so many journeys with them. Castlete, Illigus, and Frufolks. Frufolks I actually started loving for PvP and then appeared in this route, which I loved. Another one, Varkabond. You'll understand why when you metamorph a Troglum. And I suppose one last one I have to shout out, of course, is Trat, because Trat is a perfect creature.
Trat.
Misty,
Of
yours?
course, Trat.
Yes. I mean, I gotta say Trat as well. It's so good. I'm also gonna say Hop Song.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
the middle evolution of the Axolotl line, and it's just so delightful. It dances around and makes little poses. It's very good.
Yep.
I I don't know if I have any others that are particularly my favorites, but just like every beastie in the game, I'm just like,
Yeah,
God, this is so cool.
there are 106 beasties in this game, and every single one of them is fantastic. The ones that have animations have so much personality. The ones that don't have animations yet still have a lot of personality, and they're going to have so much more once they get them. It's just incredibly exciting.
And also, when you part of the Beastiepedia, basically the equivalent of a Pokédex.
Oh, sure.
There is actually like a concept art section that shows like what the artists did to kind of develop these.
I don't
pieces, and
have the
so
Beastiepedia.
Oh,
One sec.
Cool. Right.
Part of this route is you
Yeah,
never
that is
get
a
it.
sequence break. If you didn't think that we were doing things out of order, there's your proof.
There we go. Nope.
You did not get the Pokédex.
early game mode. That's wild.
Yep, I think it's partially due to
Yeah, you're
cutscene
supposed to get it
skips.
when you talk to Reese.
Yep.
But we just talk to him and then walk away, so we don't
Poor
get it.
Reese
Yeah.
gets so mistreated in the speedrun.
Yeah. Is he still here? Can I get the Beastiepedia? Nope, I might... That's really funny. I might on this save file be permanently locked out of ever getting the Beastiepedia, which is really funny, and I should probably let Greg know.
That's we have learned things today. This is incredible.
We have learned things today.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because we have to sponsorship.
Final question.
Because that's part of what's...
Yes.
Yeah.
Final question for both of you. For anyone who's looking at this game and going, "This looks really cool. I want to get into it." Do you have any piece of advice on getting into this game?
On getting into this game, play it casually. Check what plays the opponents have. A nice thing about any fight in this game, let's find one that's slightly high level, so you can get an idea. Oh yeah, right, there's going to be a convenient one right here with some nice difficult beasties. You can rematch Valerie in the post-game. Something you can do in this game is you can check the opponent's plays and see how much damage they're going to do and plan everything out. Here, I'll just do this fight in the background while we yap. So, like, I can see that this Conjurer has Feint, which is going to lower my defenses if it decides to use it. This Grisliden has Flex, which can boost its attack and defense stats. Just overall, super useful to have all of this information available to you, and it makes PvP so interesting because every turn is a puzzle.
Yeah, I would add to that I know that kind of like strategizing and calculating out damages is not everybody's thing, and if that's you, I highly recommend just not thinking about it.
Yep.
This game is very much built also around a casual experience.
Oh, I didn't get the kill.
Is very accessible in that
Yep.
way. So, yeah, it is still very, very fun. My first playthrough probably took like 50 hours because I was exploring everything, and I did not know any strategy things. That all can come later if you're interested, but, you know, to put one more Pokemon thing in there, win with your favorites.
Win with your favorites. The wonderful thing about this game is the devs have put so much effort into making every single beastie in this game, like, viable for a playthrough. It's really, really impressive. I guess wrong.
Real story, I did actually F8 to send feedback and said, "You put too many good beasties in this game, it's not fair."
Oh, this is true. There are so many fantastic ones. As you're finishing up this fight, we'll see if you can beat it. This fight is so hard. Where can folks find you?
I think I have it.
Where can folks find you if they want to see more of you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at Hallow. Yeah, I'm Aaron-Hallow on Blue Sky. You can find me hanging out in the Wishes Unlimited server or the Beastieball speedrunning server. Wonderful little places. Oh, I want to win this. Nice. Okay.
I believe.
Yeah. I stream this game whenever I feel like it, basically. Vigor Beam doesn't kill now. The downside to being low HP.
Yeah. Vigor Beam adds power based on what your HP is, so being at low HP makes it a kind of weak move.
Okay. Do we have this?
I can talk a little bit about me. There's not that much to say. I do have a Twitch channel. I don't really stream there, so mostly I am on the Wishes Discord and the speedrunning Discord as Misty Palms. Come hang out.
Awesome.
That's about it.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
I think we have unfortunately lost. But
That's all right. People, go play this game. Go get it.
Go.
It's so good. It's on sale right now on Steam. Go check it out. It's
it is
amazing.
on sale,
It's wonderful. Yeah, it is on sale. I saw that when I grabbed the link. It's very good. Go try this fight for yourself. I have still not beaten it.
One turn short.
It's difficult.
One
It's very
turn
hard.
short of Castle Elite recovering from being late. Oh well.
But with that, thank you, Hallow and Misty Palms, both for being here for the first of the Hidden Encounter shows. Chat, don't go away. We have another indie creature collector RPG coming up in just a moment.
Very.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hidden Encounters, the show all about showcasing indie and obscure RPGs. That was a fantastic Beastieball run. We have another amazing indie creature collector here for you. This is the one that actually introduced me to the genre. I have not played this one, but I am even more excited for that very reason to have Alys Rujasu here doing an any percent run for us. Alys, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah. Ready to play some Cassette Beasts here. Yeah, so this is a monster collecting game similar to like Pokemon or Persona, something in that vein. But I enjoy it a lot, and I love showing it off. So I guess let's just get right into it here. I'm gonna start a new custom game here. So we're gonna plug in a very specific seed that Garfield the Lightning found this particular seed. This is going to determine like what's in treasure chests and how battles like the RNG goes, things like that. So we're gonna get right into it here. Time starts in 3, 2, 1, go. So, yeah, it's kind of your basic RPG here. We get to do some kind of action platformy stuff. We get to jump and dash and use movement abilities and things like that. We get a partner character here, and we get a starter Pokemon, all that stuff. Yeah, and we're just gonna kind of go straight into a tutorial here. I'm just gonna kind of zoom through some introductory text here. So this is Kaylee. She's our first partner character. She takes us through some of the tutorial stuff. We'll be using her for about half of the run. Then we'll switch to another partner, and then we'll be switching back to her at the very end. I have to kind of... There's a wardrobe there where you can change your outfit and stuff. I didn't want to change my outfit, but I had to go into it, or else the game would like nag me and say, you should go over here and change out of your pajamas. We're not going to do that. We're just going to do the whole run in our pajamas because we want to go fast here. So we don't have time to, you know, put on clothes or anything like that.
Being comfy while going fast.
So we're going to go here into a pretty basic tutorial fight here. There's not really anything special I can do with it. We have looked into like ways to skip the tutorial, and the thing is, even if you could skip the tutorial unlocks enough things that we kind of need to do it in order to complete the game. So, you know, this first fight, we just kind of have to go through it as quickly as possible, and like that'll like by doing this, this unlocks. I believe it unlocks the menu, actually. Like, you can't go into the menu until you do that fight. So it's very important. We can skip the tutorial here on camping here. So you see I kind of went around the campfire there, so that we wouldn't have to do a whole tutorial on camping, because we don't need to camp. We're not like injured or anything. This fight, so I'll actually attempt to run away here, and you can't run away, but sometimes I'll just attempt to run away because that, like, there's no defend ability, so you just need something to skip. But this is the tutorial on recording monsters on your cassette players, which is kind of the equivalent of like catching them with a Pokeball or something like that. But yeah, we record them on cassette, and then we can transform into them. So that's cool. The rest of this fight is just kind of straightforward, but yeah, that you're guaranteed to record that Dominoth, even though it says there's a 20% chance, it's actually 100% chance. The game just kind of gimmicks it so that you always have 100% chance of recording it. And you need the movement ability that it gives you, so, you know, again, it's necessary to do that fight. It gives you that movement ability, and it unlocks something else. Like I said, the tutorial, even the parts of it that, you know, we could find a skip for, it just doesn't help us to skip them, so we just kind of have to go through it. So we go into our first haunted train station here. Again, this is going to be kind of a tutorial fight against Morgante here, and we need to do this because it unlocks a song that she gives us, which is kind of a riddle, which is important for like storyline purposes, and you need it to find the location of the final dungeon. Since we're on a specific seed, we already know where the final dungeon is, but we're going to use the song for some glitches and some other stuff later. So even though it's not important for the intended reason, it's going to be important for some unintended reasons that you'll see later. So the way this fight is gimmicked is all of our attacks deal 1 damage. So that prevents us from really doing anything like too fancy here. We just kind of have to go through the fight normally, but we do get to skip 1 round of it by using specific attacks. So like we'll run away here, and you'll notice that Kaylee is using the monster Sirenade. Sirenade on this seed comes with a spit attack that hits twice. It does a spit, and then it does an extra smack attack afterward, usually. So we're going to take advantage of that. So now that we've fused together our attacks deal 5 damage instead of 1 damage. So we'll use that spit, and it'll deal 10 damage. And that'll be just enough to basically save us a turn against Morgante. So it's a little bit faster. It's nothing that exciting, but that's about as much tech as we can do for that fight. So we'll see here the first instance of Morgante's song, which is going to keep popping up. More and more verses get added to the riddle as we fight more bosses. So that's not important, but like I said, we'll be using the song for some glitches later on. So I'm going to mash through this text, and I'm actually going to rest a couple of times, even though we're fully healed. I'm going to rest to, basically skip an encounter that we would have to deal with, that we don't want to deal with. So it's just kind of manipulation, basically. I have to do a little menuing here. So I replace this. I take this off. So I'm changing the stickers, which stickers are... stickers are how you use abilities. So like you have a cassette tape for your monster, and then you put stickers on the cassette to give it moves and abilities. So it's all very sort of on theme. This game, it's all very sort of like all has sort of like a little bit of a retro 80s, 90s vibe. But it's like a good game in its own right. It's not just like... It's not just kind of relying on that retro appeal, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it is just a good, solid game with, good music, good voice acting, good story, there's lots of, like, side quests and side content that I'm not going to be able to show off in the speed run, but that's really exciting for casual play. So, like, here we're running into Ianthe, who she leads us on a whole quest to become a ranger captain. Becoming a ranger captain is really fun. We don't become a ranger captain in this run because we're just doing the main story. But, definitely recommend playing this casually and finding out sort of everything it has to offer. We're going to jump on this person's head. We unlock an achievement for jumping on their head, so that's fun. I'm going to raid Ianthe's fridge and then not talk to her. And we're just going to go jump over here onto this ledge. You'll notice that I can kind of land in front of the ledge instead of landing on it. That's because I'm holding a rock, because that's how physics in this game work. If you hold a rock, then you can jump better. Don't ask why. Physics. Yeah, it's just...
Totally normal.
It's just how things happen in this universe. Everybody in this world, by the way, is sort of from, like, different times and different parallel universes. So, like, each partner we get is from sort of a different world. I'm not going to get into the whole plot details too much, but, it's, just so you have some idea what's going on here. We're just kind of in this world. We all just kind of wash up on shore at some point, and we just kind of have to make the best of things and try to find a way out of here if we can. So here I'm recording a Bulletino. Recording a Bulletino will give us a dash ability. So obviously the dash ability is good for the speed run, but it also helps us do some things like we can break these blocks here. by using a dash. Just kind of run through the rocks. I don't recommend running through rocks in the real world, but in this game it works. So I'm just going to grab this chest. That chest is going to give us a custom starter sticker. Custom starter is super valuable sticker because it lets you use like a free move at the beginning of a battle. So you can, using custom starter, you can get damage in, and it's actually possible to like win a fight before anybody even takes a turn. What? Did I like drop my rock or something? I might need to go get another object here because I just like chucked it for some reason, and I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, your NPC was just like, I'm sick of this rock. I'm sick of carrying it. It's gone. It's gone forever.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I can get another one like over here. It's like a long detour, but I don't really know any other way to go here, so we're just gonna run over here with this other rock, which should work fine. The differently shaped rocks can make a little bit of a difference, but it shouldn't matter too much. So anyway, what I'm trying to do is dash like that, like dash and jump. And see, I told you it would work. Alright, so we'll just go over here. We're going to trade this rock in for a magnet up here. Because there's a lot of interesting stuff we can do with magnets in this game. We don't do too much with them in the current route. We used to do a strategy where you'd actually stand on a magnet and be able to fly on it. But that's not as consistent and it's not as fast, so we go this way instead now. So actually, I need to do one more thing in there. I need to talk to this crab here. And that's just going to unlock fast travel, so that I can fast travel back to this station later on. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get another chest that is going to have some valuable stuff in here. I'm going to jump in the lake, and jumping in the lake affects what's in that chest, because it actually, by jumping in that lake, I move into a different like difficulty region, so it changes what's in the chest. And I'll put on this custom starter, and I'm just going to use that to raise attack power a little bit for this next fight. I'm going to use that Parafusiliate that I bought, and we're going to fight this. This next fight we're going to do pretty straightforward. We're just going to use fusion and get some attacks in. The fights coming up after this, we're going to have a way of cheesing them, but we don't have that yet, so we're just going to use a pretty straightforward strategy. Just fuse into a big monster, attack the other big monster. Yeah. This is pretty simple. If you're playing casually, fusion is like one of the most powerful things you can do. But this is actually the last time we'll do it, because the trick that we're going to learn coming up here is going to be just even more powerful and unfair, so we're going to do that. I'm getting a little low on health here, so I'm going to switch monsters for this next fight, so that I can record one of those pumpkins over there. And that's what I got that chrome tape for. So we want to for this Jumpkin here, it's kind of tricky to record this, especially when that chicken shows up, so that can be a little tricky. So I'm going to attack the Jumpkin, and I'm going to record with chrome tape. You can record it with a chrome tape or like a tape that's plant elemental. Either one will work. Okay, that's good. It's good that they attacked the Dominoth. Okay, yeah, 83% chance, and we got it. Sometimes that recording fails, and then I have to spend a lot of time trying to record it with a basic tape, or trying to find another tape I can record it with, and that's real bad when that happens. So we're glad to see that we got a successful recording there. So I'm going to have to do a little menuing. I'm going to take this off here. We're going to put Sirenade on Cass. Use Random Starter here. And we're going to remove that. So by only having 2 stickers on Sirenade, just buy this. By only having 2 stickers on Sirenade, the Random Starter and the Spit, it'll ensure that the Random Starter that gets triggered is always Spit. That's the attack that hits double, so we always want that. And that's going to combo with the monster that Felix here is going to give us, which is Brushroom. So Brushroom is like a mushroom artist monster, because Felix is like an artist. So the Brushroom is going to use an attack that changes the elemental type of an enemy. And by using Glass Camouflage, it'll change that enemy's type to glass. And when you have an enemy that's glass and you attack it with wind, that exploits like an elemental weakness, but instead of an elemental weakness that does more damage, it's an elemental weakness that causes a status effect. And so that status effect is called Resonance, and if you hit something with Resonance 3 times, it dies automatically. So even on bosses, all we have to do is hit it 3 times and it's done. So that's what we're going to do here. It's a little tricky with this fight because this fight has multiple targets, but we have everything lined up in such a way that it should, if I have everything in the right order, it should work pretty much perfectly here. So Glass Camouflage, Paint Swipe is going to turn Papatox to glass, and then there's going to be a counterattack, and then we're going to Spit. And I'm just going to switch here for some RNG manip. So Spit is going to hit that Papatox twice. And so now it's got 2 resonance. So I just have to hit it 1 more time and it'll insta-kill. So that's what I'm going to do next turn. So I'm going to Spit and just run away. And that should go off first. And that's the fight. And that's basically how the rest of these boss fights are going to go the rest of the way. So obviously that speeds things up a lot, not having to do entire boss fights. You also saw when I was getting to this boss battle, I used the Vine Ball ability to go out of bounds and skip basically an entire dungeon there. So
yeah. I was gonna say after you got done with this fight, I was like, I do appreciate how we just skipped the whole dungeon and completely said nothing about it.
Yeah.
This is normal gameplay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just what happens in this game. Yeah, a lot kind of happens at once here, but that Vine Ball ability is the most broken movement ability in the game because we can just go up walls whenever we want, and it does have a little bit of limitation in how far up the wall you can go, but it's just kind of always far enough that we can get where we need to be. And sometimes it lets us go out of bounds.
Just sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends. With great power comes great responsibility, or something.
Something like that. We don't really use the responsibility part too much here.
Not responsibly.
Classic speedrunning.
Yep. So we're just going to go in here, and we kind of have to do this part sort of the normal way. I'm hoping I don't run into any of these enemies here. And...
Yo!
Sometimes they just get you. Just like right when you're trying to, flip a switch or something. So I should be able to, yeah, I can just run away. Alright, and we'll just go up here. And this will take us to the next train station. We won't have to do any, weird skips or anything for this one, because this kind of is the dungeon, just getting up this mountain here. So here we don't really have to do anything, we just kind of go in and the boss is right here. So the boss here is Babolith. Babolith is Tower of Babel sort of thing. He tells bad jokes. Fortunately, we don't have to see any of those bad jokes. We can just speed past them. But once again, Paint Swipe is going to turn it to glass. We're going to spit and flee. And we're just going to do the same thing next turn. So it uses bad joke. Bad joke doesn't do anything. They just kind of stand there and ignore it, as you should do with all bad jokes.
But I love bad jokes.
Then you should play this game, because this game has bad jokes.
You know what? I think I do own it. This is moving rapidly up my list of games to play.
Yeah. So you see, more of the song, we're getting, more and more parts of the riddle, and we don't need the parts of the riddle, but, coming up here, we're actually going to see, the glitch that we get to do with Morgante's song. Oh. So first, I'm going to have to do some menuing here. So I'm going to take this custom starter off. And again, I have to make sure I get all of this in the right order or it won't work. So I have to make sure I move this up. And then this goes here. I'm going to lower the FPS down to 30 for this next trick.
Lowering the FPS, always sign of good things to come.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to go through this door here without triggering the elevator cutscene. So to do that, I'm going to watch a different cutscene. And so the game can't load two cutscenes at the same time. So by opening Morgante's cutscene through the menu, we just skipped an entire dungeon there. So that was going out of bounds and using a cutscene skip to skip an entire dungeon there. And now we're at the boss. And once again, we're going to exploit resonance to make the boss go really fast. This one should go even faster than the last one because the way the starters are lined up. So we get paint swipe, and then custom starter is going to use spit right at the beginning, and then we're going to use spit again, and like that, and smack. And that fight's over. So I'm going to do another menu, and then I'm going to do another cutscene skip. And then I'm going to attempt to do another cutscene skip after that, but the third one might not work, and if the third one doesn't work, it's totally fine. So I have to menu, because if I don't menu here, then the wrong things will happen, so this should be above that. Yeah. And I just go over here. So normally this next area, we're supposed to go in with Kaylee. We're supposed to be level 15. We're supposed to do a side quest before we get here. We're going to skip all that once again by doing cutscene skip. So this guard here is supposed to kind of gatekeep us. We're going to load the cutscene. And did I get past him? Nope, not quite. So I'll just do it again. And I can just keep trying this until it works, basically. Got it that time. Vine ball up this cliff here. Make sure not to get caught by her. Vine ball up again. Vine ball up once more, and I'll attempt to do a cutscene skip here. Like I said, this one might not work. I don't always get this one, and if I don't get this one, then we just watch a cutscene. Nope, I didn't get it. That's okay. So we just get to see this cutscene about the Serpent God. And Serpent God awaits us, baby, and we get to fight another boss here. You'll notice Kaylee has dialogue. Felix is kind of playing the part of Kaylee here, because she's supposed to be with us. She's supposed to be required for this, but she's not here, so Felix just gets some of her dialogue. It's so we're gonna have a boss encounter here. Dorian's gonna try to talk to him, and that's gonna work out real well for Dorian here. It's just gonna go great. No problems at all. And yeah, we're gonna have a boss fight. So this is gonna go just the same way that the Alys fight went. So not too much to say about it really here. We're gonna have this fight, and then we're gonna have a big cutscene, and then we're gonna be off to the final dungeon. So I'll use spit, run away. We're supposed to have a bunch of dialogue with Kaylee after this scene, but we just get to skip it.
Dorian, sorry.
And we just go out here and get a whole long cutscene a whole bunch of story info is going to be dumped at us. We don't really care about it. We're speedrunning, so we're just going to hold down the Y button and speed through all the text. Very happy that you can do that in this game. You just hold down Y or whatever button on your controller, and it just zooms through all the text. You don't have to mash.
We love a feature like that.
Yep.
So good.
Always a fan of not having to mash in RPGs like this. And the devs for this game are very speedrun friendly. You'll notice there's an in-game timer that they put in for speedrunners. They left some of the glitches and tricks in just because they know, it just makes for cool speedruns. So we love that.
That's the wonderful thing I find about indie games is so often the devs are respectful and open of the speedrunning community. Not always, but often they are. And so it's great to see when they'll do things like give us a speedrun timer or hold down to not have to mash through text. Like, it's just shout outs to indie devs.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been very supportive of the Cassette Beasts speedrunning community and the speedrunning community for their other game, Lena's Inception, which is also well worth checking out.
Oh yeah, I forgot it was the same devs. That's also a fantastic game.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to say goodbye to Felix here, and we're going to get Kaylee back. And let me see here. She needs brush room, and I need to make sure I have these stickers lined up just right. When I ran this at RPG Limit Break a while back, I did not have things lined up properly, so it was bad, but I think I got everything right this time, so should be better here. So yeah, we're just gonna head over to the final dungeon. So it's that tree there. That tree is the final dungeon. We just throw a box at the tree, and there will be a mirror, and that's the final dungeon.
I was almost hoping you were going to say, we throw a box at the tree, it breaks the final dungeon, and then the credits.
That's not quite what happens, but that's about how much sense this is probably going to make.
You can always dream, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the final dungeon. You'll see here it's going to kind of pan out to show, like, you have a fork in the road, and there's all this stuff to do in the final dungeon. We're once again going to not respect the content in the slightest. We're just going to vine ball up here, and we're just going to skip everything. Let's stay up there. Okay. And we just go right behind the door here, and we're on to the final boss.
This just reminds me of like Wind Waker leaf pumping. Just gonna clip through the wall and just roll into the closed zone.
Yep. So we have another train. We have all the bosses that we beat before kind of come back. It's not going to be a boss rush, but you'll kind of see what happens with them in a minute. But first, we're going to fight Alys here. And if I did everything right, this should be a quick fight. Okay, that's good. That's good. So far, everything is just what we want to see here. There's always kind of that moment of panic whenever a boss fight starts. Like, did I menu right? Like, because if I don't, then the whole thing just goes sideways and I have to improvise. But that all went fine. That, of course, was just the first phase of the fight. So now we're going to have the second phase of the fight, which is going to happen on a train. Big fan of fights on trains. Every RPG should have a fight on a train. We don't get to suplex the train, but we do get to fight on the train. So Aleph kind of fuses together, like Voltron style, with all the bosses we fought before, and so we get Aleph Null. So the beginning of this fight is going to go a little awkwardly, because I can't line up the stickers right for both fights. So I'm going to do a little bit of switching around. I'm going to use Paint Swipe here. That Bulletino is going to be kind of a sacrificial Bulletino here. But that's okay, because since the Bulletino dies, we get to bring Sirenade right back in, and then Custom Starter will go off again, and that's how we make this fight work. So here we'll use Spit, and just run away. So that'll take out Aleph Null, but Aleph Null just kind of randomly gets half its health back, because, you know, it's a final boss, so it has to find another way to kind of cheese us. And Aleph's actually going to break her cassette player. So now we can't do anything because we don't have any cassettes. But that's going to be okay, because Morgante is going to show up again. And Morgante is going to give us a big lecture about, like, oh, you typical humans, you know, you give up and the real power was all within you all along, blah, blah, blah. So it's supposed to be this big epic thing where all of our partners fuse together with Morgante, but the only partner we have with us is Kaylee, because that's how the speedrun goes. So anyway, we're going to do the most powerful thing that you can do in this game, which is drink coffee. So we're going to drink coffee, and then next turn we're going to drink some more coffee, and then we're going to attack. And we'll see what happens when we attack with the power of coffee.
Gotta make sure you're caffeinated for those fights. Very important.
Always. So yeah, when you attack with the power of coffee, it does a lot of damage. And that's the final boss fight. Time's going to be coming up in just a little bit here. We're going to go through some dialogue here, and then I'm going to get control for just a second, and then we're going to go over and talk to Miss Amber again, and that'll be it. So, I'm going to run over to Miss Amber. Time's coming up. And time.
GG.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's Cassette Beasts. Probably my favorite game of the last few years. I enjoy it a lot. I put a lot of time into the speedrun and also just into the casual run. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend playing it, especially, you know, if it's already on your backlog. Maybe bump this one up a few spots. I think it's really, really good and worth your time. So yeah.
Awesome. Oh, it seems like such a fun game. This has definitely just been bumped up my playlist. Sure. And I believe it's available on a number of platforms as well. I'm going to pop the Steam link into chat, but I believe it's available on a few different platforms if you have a preference for a different one.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess I've got a question for you. What got you into speedrunning this game?
So I was actually watching, I was watching Flannel Cat on Twitch, and she was playing this game, and I was just like, I really want to play this game. And, you know, I start playing it and see that it's speedrun friendly, and I'm like, I really want to speedrun this game. And, you know, so it was just starting to form a speedrunning community around that time. And so I got into it, and I picked up the run, and I picked up this version of the run, and also I've run a couple other categories. I've also messed around with the randomizer. This game has a built-in randomizer. It's so cool.
Whoa, that's very cool.
Yeah. So many cool things about this game. I could go on and on, but yeah. Yeah, the community for this game is really friendly. They wrote, you know, good guides. They've written like guides for every patch that's come out. You know, you can, if you join the Bitten Studio Discord, there's a whole community there of people who speedrun this game who, you know, we would be happy to help you if you have any questions about it, want to get into it. Like this category, or, you know, any category you want, really. You can pretty much just make up a category of whatever you want to do with this game. Yeah.
Very cool. I was looking at the designs of the monsters in the game, and they look super cool. Do you have a favorite?
That's a good question. I always kind of go back and forth. I really like Sirenade, which is Kaylee's starting monster, and kind of the evolutions of that. I think it evolves into something else, and then it evolves into Decibel. I think it's a cool monster. I think all the monsters in this are cool. I always get kind of indecisive about like which ones to use casually.
I guess final question would be for anyone who watched this, went, this looked really cool. Do you have any advice for them in getting into this game?
Honestly, just like buy this game, play the game, like play it casually. And I feel like if you play this game casually for, you know, like you don't necessarily have to dump hours and hours into it, but, you know, just like do a basic playthrough and kind of see what grabs you. Like if you just want to speedrun the main storyline like this, you can do this. We have guides written up for that. If you really like the Ranger Captains, there's a speedrun for the Ranger Captain quest. If you really like randomizers, just play the randomizer and just get into it. You know, you can watch speedruns to learn some of the tricks, but you can kind of do your own thing with this game if you want to. So, yeah.
And if folks want to see more of you, where can they find you?
A lot of times you'll find me at just like marathons and like special events like this, but I do try to sometimes stream on my Twitch, which is just Alys Rujasu, all one word. I also have been uploading speedruns to my YouTube lately. I've been doing speedruns of Pac-Land for the TurboGrafx 16. I was battling David TKI for the world record in that. I was also messing around with Pac-Land Pro, so, you know, and I speedrun some other stuff like Neon Beats and, yeah, some other games, Dungeons of Dreadmore. I've done that before, too. So, yeah. You know, just follow me and, every once in a while I'll stream or I'll upload something. So, yeah.
Very cool. Lots of great stuff. Thank you, Alys, so much for coming. I know last minute I asked you to come join the show. Thank you so much for coming during this fantastic run and being part of this first episode here of Hidden Encounters.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right, folks, stick around. We'll be back in just a moment with some closing announcements. Oh, all right. That was a fantastic show, wasn't it, Sid?
Yeah. It's I was a bit hesitant first, especially after watching this. I'm impressed at how much cool stuff there is out there, other than just what it's shown normally.
There's so many cool indie games, and I am so excited to hopefully continue to keep bringing you some more hidden encounters. The next one is tentatively scheduled for late July, so if you want to see more indie games, stay tuned to this channel. There'll be more coming. But I also want to shout out our Discord. Obviously, it's a place where we plan these events, where obviously all the planning for our big charity event once a year occurs. But we also have a lot of community space. And if you want to come talk RPGs, this is a fantastic place. ! Discord in the chat, I believe, should give you a link to it. Thinking of the two games we had today, Beastieball and Cassette Beast, both of them have incredible soundtracks. We have a music chat in here that's always full of great recommendations. But when I look in there, it's often missing indie game recommendation soundtrack stuff. So like, indie game lovers, come join us. Let's show the community that there's a ton of us out here who love these incredible games made by often really small teams, really passionate folks. We will also be back next week, though, with another show. Sid, if you want to shout that one out a little bit.
Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks haven't been great. We were trying to get some shows going, and we just had some conflicts. But the whole rest of this month, which just the one day, but also July, we've got quite a few things planned. The one thing we're actually going to be showing off is the Soul Blazer Randomizer. And we also have another stream that'll be just a little bit after that. And ideally from there, we're going to keep doing more and more shows. Let's see here. What's the next one after that is actually going to be the beginning of July, Super Mario RPG Level 1 with Pidge. And that's going to be a really cool showcase. But if you ever want to know what we're planning, I do my best to make sure that the calendar is up to date as soon as I have anything scheduled. And that will be available on our website. You can find there as well.
Awesome. We love that. But yes, thank you all for coming out, supporting this very first Indie Showcase show. I'm very excited about the future of it. I have so many things planned. I don't think Sid and the rest of the team is quite prepared for everything that I have coming down the pipeline, but I am so excited. But you know what I'm also excited about? We're going to send off a raid. We're going to go see the folks at Black in a Flash, doing the Juneteenth celebration over on GDQ. So let's go send them some love. Until next time, folks, we'll see you next Sunday at noon Eastern.
Yep. Have a good one, everybody. See you guys later.